Hey guys, welcome to the lecture series on ethical hacking. So, as a part of the fourth unit syllabus, in our syllabus point of view, this video will be mainly talking about the bandwidth and morosing flood attacks. Okay, how the bandwidth attack will be occurred and how the synchronous flood attack will be occurred. Okay, these are the two things we'll be mainly talking about. First of all, going with the bandwidth attack. Bandwidth is nothing but the difference between higher frequency to the lower frequency, which we have been already studied in the case of computer networks and mobile computing and different type of subjects. So here the bandwidth, the day and the path are also the resource that has been used in order to make the required data transmission will be getting attacked. So general example, okay, once you are using your internet in your home PCs, we'll be having certain amount of band, suppose 100 Mbps, or also 30 Mbps, or also 40 Mbps, or also 200 Mbps, 400 Mbps also. So it's about the capacity of the bandwidth. So that is a capacity of the network to make the required data transmission, whether it is uploading or also downloading of data. So once you are checking about your internet speed, you may be checking about this particular difference. Mostly our downloading will be of somewhat of less value than compared to that of the uploading speed. Okay, uploading will be happen in a faster manner. Okay, it's a normal network tendency. Why it has been happened, it is least further. I mean, we can discuss in other things also. So first of all, let me go with the bandwidth attacks. So the bandwidth or else a network what I am using will be getting compromised by these attackers when they had been attacked by flooding the required network or pumping unwanted information into the network. The attacker will be simply sending a large volume of traffic, large volume of unwanted get or else post requests into the network and making network busy. It may be occurred due to the DOS attack or else DDoS attacks. So it will be mainly targeting the server or else targets the network. Okay, they will be consuming the maximum amount of bandwidth. So at that particular instant of time, if a normal legitimate user want to establish a required communication via that particular virtual circuit, via the particular path, even though which is having higher bandwidth, cannot be used. Why? Because already it is half busy. Okay, in some sort of situation, that particular network may be getting congested because of the network traffic. So the main problem with the network congestion is nothing but so network buffer will be having certain capability to store some amount of data to periodically to transfer to maintain a clear flow control between the sender and more of the receiver. Beyond that also, if I am getting more number of data is coming into the network, those particular data cannot be equipped in the network buffers what I am maintaining. So automatically that particular data will be getting lost, will be getting grounded. So without human intervention, without knowledge to the sender, that particular data will be automatically discarded in my network. So that once the data has been discarded, the data will not be properly received to the receiver. So receiver will be once again sending the request to the sender to once again make the required data transmission. So the same data may be transmitted for more number of times when this particular task has been occurred. So it will be mainly exhausting the network capacity. It will the network buffer capacity and everything. Okay, at that particular instant, after legitimate users will not be having the services to access the service from the receiver or else from the servers. It will be mainly caused because of the UDP flooding, okay, or else ICMP flooding. Okay, UDP, that is nothing but the user datagram protocol. ICMP in the case of internet control message protocol. The ICMP will works whenever if any uneven situation has been occurred. It will be pumping millions of requests. Okay, like chalk packet if the congestion has been occurred. If the receiver is where it is, whether it is active or inactive, to check via using the echo packet. Okay, now to calculate the required transmission delay between the source and motor destination, maximum transmission delay. So some sort of control messages will be regularly used by the ICMP protocol to have the proper communication control messages, not the data communication. So these attackers will be pumping multiple control messages, making the server busy. And not only making the server busy, making the network busy also. It will be amplifying the attacks. And no need to have the exploit vulnerabilities. These attackers will be mainly relying on the sheer traffic volume. They will not be getting, the data may be not be compromised, but they will be compromising the network, making network busy. after main result is nothing but slow data communication will be happened as the network is up busy. So slowly the data will be transmitted. There is a chance if the congestion has been occurred, so network buffer is not in a capable position to temporarily hold that particular data. Automatically the data will be discarded. Once the data has been discarded, those particular data contents or also packets will not be properly received to the receiver. So once again retransmission has to be carried out. So automatically it will be degrading the performance of the network and degrading the performance of the terminals also. Next, going with the sync flood attack. Okay, synchronous flood attack. They will be mainly exploiting the TCP three-way handshaking policy. Let me go in detail about the three-way handshaking policy. Generally, if I am going with the connection oriented services, especially once I am going with the TCP protocols, to establish the required communication, first of all I have to establish a virtual circuit. Once the connection has to be established, for that thing we'll be going with the three-way handshaking policy. What about this particular three-way handshaking policy? Everywhere, to have a proper communication between the source and moreover destination, directly source will not be dumping some sort of data to the receiver. Why? Because at that particular instant of time, receiver is not interested to receive that particular data. There is a chance. If the receiver is not interested, but it doesn't have the capability to store that data that has been coming from the source, there is a chance. Okay, different type of situations may be there. So before making the required communication, okay, proper connection has to be established. For that thing itself, we will be going with the three-way handshaking policy. Three-way handshaking policy. Okay, in the case of three-way handshaking policy, what we have been already learned in the computer network syllabus, the first of all, the source will be pumping one particular connection request to the receiver. Okay, receiver, what it will be doing, if it is interested to receive the required request and process the request to have the required communication with the so and so sender, he will be passing a connection request reply. So first control signal is nothing but the connection request. The second control signal from the receiver is nothing but the connection request reply if he is interested. And finally he will be pumping the acknowledgement. So three control signals has been used in order to make the required data communication to establish the proper connection. So now these things will be getting attacked. How? Okay, let me go with a small discussion about these things. The target in the connection process will be mainly done, as I said, first of all, connection request, that is nothing but a sync message. Connection request reply message, or also connection request sync message will be getting. And finally we will be having the acknowledgement, final acknowledgement. So after receiving the, let me go in detail step by step once again. The connection request has been sent. First of all, sync has been sent. At this particular instant after, receiver will be knowing that so and so sender is interested to make up the required communication. So it will be knowing some sort of knowledge. Now the sender has to know whether my request has been properly received to the receiver or not, whether the receiver is interested to make the required communication with me or not. It will be known only through the synchronous acknowledgement, nothing but the connection request reply. From the reply, the source will be having the required information saying that okay, done. So receiver is also interested to receive the required information from me. Okay, I'm going to make the required data transmission. Now, after the two steps, now the receiver will be in a small confusion whether the request that has been reply that has been sent by me, that is nothing but the connection request reply message, or also synchronous acknowledgement that has been sent from the receiver has been properly received to the source or not. So to avoid the small confusion, we will be having the third control signal called as a acknowledgement, final acknowledgement. From the final acknowledgement, okay, receiver will be thinking that okay, source has also got the required reply signal from me, what has been sent by me. So the source is now ready, will be making the required data transmission. I should make some sort of enough buffer availability at my system level to store that particular data what has been coming from the trusted party to maintain that particular information. So this is how the three-way handshaking policy will be implemented. So the attacker will be attacking these particular things. They will be mainly exploiting the three-way handshaking policy. Okay, they will be simply sending numerous number of synchronous requests. Even though first synchronous request itself that has been processed by the receiver, it has sent the request reply. That is nothing but synchronous acknowledgement has been sent. But the attacker, what it will be doing, he will be continuously sending numerous number of synchronous requests. Now receiver will be thinking that, okay, what the reply that has been sent by me, somehow that particular control message, the second control message that has been initiated from the receiver, has been grounded, has been lost because of the congestion, because of some sort of network issues. Once again, we got some sort of synchronous message to establish the required communication. So once again from the same party. So I have to process that thing and I have to allocate some sort of buffer and I have to send the required reply signal. If these things has been happening continuously, not only from a single terminal, from millions of terminals, and making server busy, the server is go on establishing the connections itself, but it is not making any sort of further communication. So these are some of the issues that will be occurred because of the synchronous flood attacks. So it will be leaving the communication as the connections in a halfway. After the partial data transmission, somehow because of these particular flooding attacks, okay, the data maybe the connection may be lost. Let me go with the in detail. Suppose for example, first of all I have done the required connection request reply and I have got the connection request reply, connection request reply signal, and final acknowledgement. After the getting the acknowledgement, the data transmission has been initiated. For the every data that has been transmitted, I am getting the acknowledgement. Suppose during the data transmission in the middle of the session, once again we are getting some sort of sync message. Suppose the receiver will be thinking that okay, once again connection has been disabled because of some sort of network issues. Once again source is initiating some sort of connection request. So once again the connection request has to be replied. Then only we can make the required data transmission. So the attacker is attacking the network, making the network compromised and making the server compromised. Because of that things, there is a delay in the data transmissions. And that there is a chance the attacker may be hijacking those particular sessions and behaving as if he is a trusted party to make the required communication. So the different type of situations may be there. So we should be very much cautious while leaving the required connections. Once I'm not using any sort of communications or ports, better to disable those particular things. Okay, it will be what the thing that has been happening is here that is nothing but the server will have the exhaust responses. Okay, exhaust replies will be getting there because of the flood attacks and making the server resources in a downtime. Okay, we cannot process millions of requests even though we are having a proper communication. So because of these things, a genuine user may not have a proper communication, cannot have a proper data transmission with the legitimate parties. Next, going with the program and how this particular application attacks will be occurred. They will be mainly targeting about the specific application that has been downloaded and used by the attacker. Okay, applications, they will be using different type of softwares or any sort of things. The attacker will be compromising those softwares or even the web applications also. Okay, it will be mainly exploiting the software vulnerabilities. They will be simply attacked with the different type of bugs or else coding flash or else unpatched vulnerabilities. When these particular things has been triggered, automatically they will be affecting the system to be get compromised and uses a legitimate looking request. So the attacker will be simply pumping millions of requests, making server busy with the connection request or else synchronous request or else get or else post message also, making server busy. So it will be mainly once these particular information or else once this request has been processed continuously by the server, so the server is automatically getting busy in spite of sending the required data transmissions, in spite of processing the queries. It is just pumping only the synchronous replies itself or else asynchronous acknowledgement itself. Automatically the performance degradation may be occurred because of the huge amount of processing of these reply messages or else request messages. The CPU, memory, database, everything may be getting compromised. A slow performance may be there. Because of these things, the applications may be in a downtime. Okay, applications will not work properly. Okay, simple things. Suppose in our system itself, the i3 or else i5 or else i7, what the processor has been using with the different type of generations. So every processor will be having some sort of capability to provide the number of requests in a single instant of time. Beyond its capability, if I am pumping millions of requests, if I am parallelly opening multiple folders, downloading multiple movies, parallelly playing to the music, performing multiple printout operations, if I am continuously giving multiple requests, in a single instant of time, automatically server will be getting busy because of the huge amount of gush of request that has been sent for the single sender. So at that particular instant of time, the application will not work properly. So these are the different type of situations. So in this video, we'll be mainly talking about the application attacks, synchronous flood attacks, and more of the bandwidth attacks. Okay, thank you.
Like, share, comment, and subscribe VNR Digital Learning Resource YouTube channel.